Happy Sunday, September 25th, 2022, man. Ray G here in the building, one deep, just to do some college football recap, instant reactions, quick takeaways. We don't have all the data and all that stuff mixed in the model. Just sort of, this is something that I feel like I need to do, and we don't have enough time on the Wake Up Show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to really recap college football. And quite honestly, after Saturday night, early Sunday morning, once the NFL kicks off, no one really cares about what happened in college. And it's my job to keep you tapped in. So I'm live with the patrons. Hopefully some of them will jump in the building and get on the stream and ask some questions and shit like that. And if not, I'm going to just give my quick thoughts and takeaways of what we saw this past Saturday, in particular, how it affects and moves the dynasty market, right? How we should be viewing some of these players for fantasy football purposes, man. And let's just get into it and start this thing out. Let me see if these people got the stream. I mean, I'll just tell them I'm live, and then we'll go ahead and do it live now. Let me share the link with them. I guess they don't have the damn link because it's unlisted. Let me do that real quick. Copy the URL. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get this for everybody. Shit, I don't know where it's at. I don't know where the damn thing is. I'm live, but I don't know where it is. I don't know where to find it. They should know, but neither here nor there. I don't see anybody in here with me, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's link is in the videos, I think. Yeah, I don't know where the damn link is. No clue. No clue. I don't know how to work my own damn Discord. I don't know where the link is, but the big takeaway for me is the quarterbacks, right? CJ Stroud was magnificent last night. Just, I know a lot of people are going to say it's the Ohio State system. It's all of this, all of that. He was incredible, man. 281 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception that was an overthrow. That was the only one that was sort of on him. But other than that, CJ Stroud was absolutely magnificent. And it's hard for me to think that there's another quarterback that I want in this class over him at the moment. It's hard to make the case for anybody other than CJ Stroud right now because of how he's playing. It doesn't matter if JSN is in. And speaking of JSN, reports are the hamstring is not good. I don't know if that's confirmed or what, but he played last week. He didn't play this week. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with JSN. I had a couple of people tell me potentially a hamstring tear. Again, none of that stuff is confirmed. Like, nothing is confirmed with that. All right, I got the shareable link right here. I'll drop this in right here. None of that is confirmed with JSN to my knowledge, but doesn't matter if it's Emeka, doesn't matter if it's Marvin Harrison. CJ Stroud's ability to just find the open man and deliver is impressive, man. And when you're looking at a quarterback class that I watched Tyler Van Dyke get pulled for Jake Garcia. We're seeing Will Levis play well, demonstrate some of that arm strength, but a lot of concerns that people have with Levis still continue to show themselves, right? Like, you want to see him push the ball downfield more. He's got a great young freshman wide receiver in Barrion Brown, absolutely dynamic. I mean, when I'm thinking about where to rank him in this upcoming 2025 rookie class, it's just, he's very good. And Brown is very good. So first initial takeaway is just how good CJ Stroud is. In this game, it was crazy because I was looking at Braylon Allen, 2024 eligible running back, and I was like, I don't want to take his rushing yards. I'm fearful that Ohio State will get up on them early, and then Braylon Allen won't be able to do anything, and he just showed off why he's one of the best running back prospects in the 24 class. You had both of them back-to-back. You had Travion Henderson on one side of the field, Braylon Allen on the other, and I know Henderson is maybe a little more well-rounded because he can catch the ball, but I mean, if Allen is going to be, 6'2", 230, 40 pounds, and run a 4.4, run a 4.5, it's going to be hard for people not to fall in love with that and think the next Derrick Henry. Henderson is playing well, but Mine Williams is playing well behind him also. So big takeaway is just how good CJ Stroud looked, and right now it's hard to bet on him being anything other than the QB1 in this class at the moment. Now, that doesn't mean he has the most tools or he's the most toolsy guy, but when you're talking production, it's hard to bet against CJ Stroud. Now, let's talk about the guy who a lot of people seem to think could push for that QB1 spot because of the talent, because of the skill set, and that's Anthony Richardson, who played he played awesome. If you watched that Florida-Tennessee game, you were in for a treat because you had two really good quarterbacks in Hendon Hooker and Anthony Richardson dueling this thing out in Knoxville, Tennessee. Anthony Richardson finished the day 24 for 44 for 453, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 10.3 yards, average pass completion, which is pretty good for Richardson. I know the completion percentage wasn't there. He's a little right around 50%, 24 for 44. But man, the throws that he was making, the progression, you could see him taking what was there. And then we saw him utilize his legs, 17 carries, 62 yards, another 2 touchdowns on the ground. This is, if this were in the NFL, this is monster week for Anthony Richardson. Hendon Hooker balled out as well. I know a lot of people are kind of looking for those top 5 quarterbacks in the class. And right now, why not Hendon Hooker inside that top 5? He's better than Tyler Van Dyke. He's better than Devin Leary, Cam Rising. He's better than Jarren Hall. He's an older player, but you saw him get 112 yards on the ground. He ripped off a real long run where he followed his blocks and just a nice run down the left sideline. But Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker really balled out. And, there's a lot of talk about ARich not potentially, if the season continues the way it is, him not declaring for the NFL draft. And we'll just see how it goes, man. I think realistically, all of us in the fantasy space were probably a little out over our skis after week 1 with Richardson. As QB1, he's pushing Bijan for the 101, where in reality, he's still a young quarterback that needs some time to grow and develop. But I did like what I saw out of both Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker this past weekend. So let's go to Alabama. Let's talk about Bryce Young, and I really want to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and how good he is. And everybody was asking why Jahmyr Gibbs didn't run the ball. He's their best receiver. He's like their best receiving weapon. I know Ja'Cory Brooks had a big game, 117 yards, but man, Gibbs out of the backfield. If you didn't see that long 26-yard catch and run, it was beautiful, magnificent. Go check out Jahmyr Gibbs. And my only concern with Gibbs long term is what are we expecting his rushing opportunity to be in the NFL? He's not going to be a 20 carry a game guy. I don't even think you want him doing that. Alvin Kamara is the most talked about comp for him. He's smooth. He's kind of a glider, shifty like Kamara, very, very natural out of the backfield. He's going to have to, I don't think he's built and equipped enough to handle carries out of the backfield like Kamara does, but I do think he's just as dynamic in the receiving game. Can he develop into that? Maybe an Austin Eckler, maybe like a lesser version of Eckler or right around Austin Eckler? I think so. I think he can, but they're just not handing him the ball. They're not turning around and doing what Alabama's done for the past 5 years with Najee Harris, with Bijan Robinson, which is have a primary ball carrier and just give it to the guy. And Gibbs is doing what he's supposed to do in the receiving game to keep his, I don't want to say his draft stock afloat, but, on the season, 25 attempts, 172 yards, 17 receptions, 187 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, no rushing touchdowns for Gibbs. It's a little concerning, right? He hasn't had one game this year with over 10 rush attempts. So when we're thinking for fantasy, like you're really banking on Gibbs just being a monster in the passing game, in the receiving game, which he can do, but it's still a little, I don't want to say concerning, but just not ideal, right? Not ideal. Bryce Young, another efficient day, just dissected Vanderbilt, 25 for 36, 385 and 4. Your top quarterbacks are Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Like, let's not, I'm not about to reach for something. I think the most toolsy guy, of course, is Anthony Richardson. But if I'm building my roster and I'm like, I got to take one of these quarterbacks, right? It's either Young or Stroud at the top. There's no way, at least 4 weeks into this college football season, I could see myself going to CJ Stroud, going to Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson or Will Levis over Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. It just can't happen. The command of the offense is crazy. Like he's just good, man. He's good. He's a good quarterback. He's small, but he's good. He's small, but he's good. And that's what people are going to talk about when it comes to Bryce Young. It's going to be that size. Now, DJ Uiagalelei, let's talk about him because This season, this young man has really stepped it up this year, right? I know the completion percentage, 63%. Finally, he got loose this game, 63% completion percentage. Got loose for 371 yards and 5 touchdowns in a 2 overtime victory versus Wake Forest on the season. His completion percentage, look at that, from 55 to 64. He's well on his way to go over 2,200 passing yards. Look at this. This is what I love, right? 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Last year, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This version of DJU is the version that we wanted to see last year. And he's got Clemson as a top 5 team in the country. They're probably going to cruise through the ACC at this point and be on a collision path to another college football playoff. This is the guy, right? You watch this game and the tools. We talk about all these tools that Anthony Richardson has. DJ Uiagalelei has these same type of tools because look at what he does on the ground. 14 for 52 this game. He had 9 for 62 last game. Without going into great detail, I have been privy to some information that may have contributed to some things mentally with him last year. And you can say on one hand, like you're a top-rated quarterback. I want to see you persevere, but there were some things that he was going through that probably made it really difficult for him to play last year. When you look at somebody 6'4", 240 pounds that can move, that has a hand cannon, I'm in. I mean, this is a guy that I came out, Jay-Rich knew going into last season, I was like, he is the 101 in 2023. There's no doubt about it. I'm in. I think he has rehabbed his stock to a point where we're talking about these Van Dykes and Learys, and if you're in on Levis's tools, if you're in on Anthony Richardson's tools as a prospect, how could you not be in on DJU? Like, I think we swung the pendulum way too far. We set the expectations way up here. He failed, and you got to knock him for that. But at this point, man, if he declared in 23, which I don't know if he will or not, he feels like a guy that if the season continues to go well, Clemson gets to the college football playoff and say they lose to Georgia or Alabama, like I could see him coming back in 24, which might be 4 weeks in, might be his best outlook, right? He declares for the 24 class, man, you got Ewers, you got Caleb, you got McCarthy, you got May, you got DJU. That looks good. What I like about DJU and why I'm starting to jump back on this train is the same reason why I like Jalen Hurts, right? When adversity hits and things don't go your way and you kind of shit the bed, right? What do? Do you nut up and crumble, or do you get in the lab, get busy, work your tail off, come back and ball out? And that's what DJU is doing right now. He got in the lab. He worked on some deficiencies. He avoided all the noise. Think about the pressure that young man had going into last season, following up Trevor Lawrence. They won national championships with Deshaun Watson, that lineage of quarterbacks, and you're being banked on to be, as good as those guys, right? From a physical trait standpoint, he's got everything that Watson and T-Law have in his shoulder. He's got all of that, right? But it did not come to fruition last year. They lost everybody, clean slate, and he had to figure it out. But he got in the lab, he's gotten better, and he's done exactly what a lot of people wanted Spencer Rattler to do, and he's not getting it done. So DJU, very, very impressed with him right now. If I'm thinking 23, Stroud, Young, Levis, Richardson, Hooker, DJU's got to be right in the mix as a top 5 quarterback in the 23 class, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for him. Hell of a job battling back for DJU. I love it for him, and that mental makeup is something that is really important to me. Now, Texas A&M, another quarterback, KJ Jefferson, 12 for 19. This was a weird game because they started out on fire. KJ Jefferson started out on fire, and then the Arkansas team, after he tried to jump the ball in from the 7-yard line, I don't know what he was thinking there. Just kind of went in the dumps, right? But KJ Jefferson, 12 for 19, 171, 2 touchdowns. He almost threw a pick, but still no interceptions for Jefferson. And again, what I like about KJ is he doesn't turn the ball over. For his career, man, in the first 2 years, he didn't play much, but He's got 6 interceptions on his career to 30 plus touchdowns. This is 32, 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on his career this season. Right now, 70%, 69% completion percentage, 67% last year with 2,600 yards, 21 TDs, 4 picks in the SEC. This is a kid that, again, 6'3", 240, ran the ball for 80 yards this game, 105 yards on 18 carries. 18 carries, 105. And why they don't give the damn ball to Rocket Sanders more, I don't get it. But another one of these quarterbacks where the tools, the traits, the work ethic, he got in the lab, got his body back together. You look good, man. KJ Jefferson is somebody rising up my board as well. And Devon Achane, man, he's going to be an interesting case study because they have him listed at 5'9", 185. I don't know if he's that big, but please, my fingers are crossed that he is. If he's 185, 190, whereas we talk about running backs, like I don't want these running backs under 200 pounds. This kid's different, man. Like, there were plays where he would run the ball for 4 yards, and the commentators were like, yo, you can just see it, right? The explosiveness, the speed. Achane is legit. He's going to be an interesting case study to see how people value him in the fantasy space because every time he touches the ball, it's electric. And he had 159, had a rushing touchdown. He's fast, man. I bet they set his over-under 40-yard dash time at 4.30, and he's probably going to push 4.28, 4.26 at the combine. And with that type of speed, even if you're using him as a kick returner and a complementary piece to a more traditional running back, it's probably going to work for Achane. He's one that I'm willing to kind of bet on those outlier traits for Devon Achane. Zach Evans got banged up in the Ole Miss game, didn't play at all in the second half, I don't believe. So I'm not gonna dive too much into that game. But since we talked about Achane and the running backs, Tua's little brother did get benched. He played very bad for Maryland. J.J. McCarthy, so glad they made the switch. He's just a dynamic athlete, 2024 eligible. But I want to talk about Blake Corum. Because it's time for everybody to start giving him proper credit and respect playing the way he's playing out in the Big Ten. 243 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. Didn't even need him to catch the ball. 243, and he's just scoring. He's got 9 touchdowns on the season right now. At 5'8", 210, I'm going to tell you right now, he reminds me of Ray Rice. I watched Blake Corum run the ball. You look at his body size. He reminds me of Ray Rice. He continues to play like this. He's going to declare, and he's probably going to be a second-round pick, third-round pick at worst. I'll put money on it. He's a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. He's big. He's not tall, but at 210, Blake Corum is probably going to run anywhere from 4.48 to 4.52. Think he's got that type of speed, and on that fast track in Indy, he could be sub 4.48. At 5'8", 210, if he's out there running a 4.4 with this type of production in a P5 conference, his ability to catch the ball, we saw him 24 receptions last year. I think he's a guy that again, when you're looking at these running backs, right, you're asking me right now today, who do I have more confidence in as far as draft capital? Blake Corum or Sean Tucker at Syracuse? It's Blake Corum. I believe that Corum has a better all-around skill set at the running back position than Sean Tucker, but Sean Tucker is an elite athlete. I mean, he's a track guy, 10-3 guy in the 100-meter dash. He can move, right? It's Syracuse, man, and I'm interested to see how the NFL world, the NFL community, because I know a lot of people think he's like a 4th-round pick, will value Sean Tucker when it comes time for the NFL draft. But Blake Corum, it's time to stop mocking him and, round 3 of rookie drafts, round 2. This kid can play, man. It's time to start giving him his credit. He's an absolute baller. I love everything that we're seeing from Corum as the lead back. He's better than freaking Hassan Haskins was last year. That's for damn sure. All right. Number 1 team in the country struggled with Kent State. Stetson Bennett looked awful after I pumped him up for a week, giving him some credit. He looked bad. Brock Bowers led the team in rushing. Kenny McIntosh, I mean, I get it, right? He can catch the ball. He's at Georgia. I'm not seeing top 5 running back. Kendall Milton, it's just a big kind of plodding type running back. It was just an off day for Georgia overall, and teams have that. USC went to Corvallis, as they always do, since they had damn Jacquizz Rodgers at running back, and they struggled versus Oregon State. They just struggled versus Kent State. A 1-3 team, Georgia was struggling, and sometimes you get that. You play down to your opponents. You got to be ready to go every week, any given Saturday, right? Brock Bowers is a stud. Don't let anybody tell you any different. It's a shame we have to wait another year in order for Brock Bowers to declare to the NFL draft, but he's a stud. Bijan Robinson over here at Texas, also a stud, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy dropping a lot of passes out there for UT. Smoked 2 of them. Bijan wasn't really involved in the passing game, but another 100-yard day for Bijan. Bijan's, you look at what he's done this year. Outside of the UTSA game, which he should have destroyed UTSA, he's just he's been solid, right? He's the top back in the class. There's no doubt about it. But, a lot of these guys that we had high hopes for coming in the season just dominating, they really aren't. The receivers are kind of poo. JSN is hurt. Butte doesn't want to play. Quentin Johnston. What are we doing with Quentin Johnston right now? This dude, it's 4 weeks in, and we keep making excuses, and now we're calling him a value. Like, what do we do with Quentin Johnston? He's got all the athleticism, all the size, in a game where TCU put up 42 points. 42 points. Let's go find Quentin Johnston. Oh, there he is. 3 for 29. And I know a lot of this is Max Duggan isn't very good, but he did complete 22 passes, right? Keandre Miller, and I should have played him. In our model, he was like one of the highest. His fantasy score was like 15, something super low. And I was like, I don't want to do it. And he went out there and smashed. But what are we doing with Quentin Johnston, who on this season has 8 for 73. 8 for 73 in 3 games for Quentin Johnston. I don't know if he's going to declare. Rashee Rice, I believe Dane Brugler says he's the top senior wide receiver prospect for him. Him and Cedric Tillman right up there. He's going to be fun to watch at the Senior Bowl. He's 6'2", 203 pounds, and he's producing like a monster. Somebody that, again, Rashee Rice is somebody that we need to be talking about a little bit more from a fantasy perspective, right? Especially with how bad some of these receivers have looked this season. I mean, literally all my top 4 guys coming into the season were Addison, Butte, Smith and Jigba, and Quentin Johnston, and 3 of them have done nothing. Addison's the only one that's producing. So it's just going to be interesting to see. If JSN did, in fact, tear a hamstring, it's going to be interesting to see how the community values him when it's all said and done. Stanford versus Washington, late game, Tanner McKee, 3 touchdowns. Again, I'm watching him, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I guess he's like Davis Mills 2.0. Michael Penix came back down to earth a little bit, but he was still good. 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just 2 quarterbacks that I think get drafted, but they're nothing besides kind of backup level quarterbacks at the next level. Let me see if there are any other big takeaways from the games that I watched. I talked about Zach Evans being hurt. We hit on Bijan Robinson. Go to the ACC because I want to talk about Drake Maye in that game. Here we go. This was a good one. Oh, that's Louisville, Malik Cunningham. Where are we at? North Carolina, Notre Dame. Drake Maye, 5 touchdowns, 300 yards. A lot of it was in comeback mode because North Carolina stopped playing after the first quarter of the game. But Drake Maye, a 24 eligible prospect, 24 quarterback class, shaping up to be really good. Michael Mayer, I've talked about him not being an elite guy. He's still the best tight end prospect in the class, but I'm not taking him in the first round, but he was, again, solid, 7 for 88. Josh Downs coming back, had 2 touchdowns. And right now I asked the question, who would you rather have, a Josh Downs or Jordan Mims? Not Jordan Mims, that's the running back from Fresno. Marvin Mims, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, or Quentin Johnston. And I think right now for me, I'd rather have Mims. I think we're all a little too low on Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma. 4 for 87. He had a long 50-yard touchdown run. Dylan Gabriel was Dylan Gabriel this game. You see 330 and 4. I asked the patrons, what do we think draft capital for Dylan Gabriel will be? And I think he's going to be like a day 3 pick. Adrian Martinez had the game of his life. 4 freaking rushing touchdowns. All I needed to do is Deuce Vaughn to get in once. But Vaughn, little guy, commanding 25. Deuce Vaughn can command 25 carries, and we can't get Gibbs over 10. I don't know if Kansas State's doing it wrong or Alabama's doing it right, but damn, I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs be able to go out there and get 25 rush attempts, right? He got 87 on the season for 468 and 3, another 12 receptions. Vaughn on his way to smashing again. this year. Really good player, but at 5'6", 180 pounds, it's a hard sell for fantasy gamers to buy into that size of a quarterback, that archetype of a quarterback. We touched on Van Dyke briefly. He's just not it, y'all. I don't want anything to do with Van Dyke. Bo Nix, don't ask me about him. We're not doing anything with Bo Nix. Devin Leary had a good game versus UConn, which you should versus UConn, right? 4 touchdowns, 320 yards. Receivers did a lot for him. I only watched a couple of snaps of this game just because everyone told me how bad Leary looked, and then I saw they were playing against damn UConn, and he's out there shredding them. Jarren Hall last night had a really good night. If you stayed up to watch this game, which I did because I had some prop plays with Jarren Hall's fantasy score, but man, he threw a pass on the right sideline where you just say that is, not only is that an NFL throw, that's an elite NFL throw from Jarren Hall. So another one of those 2023 eligible prospects that are trying to position themselves to get inside that maybe potentially first round. We saw the Mel Kipers and the Todd McShays mock Jarren Hall in the first round. It's a wild race after Stroud and Young. It's Richardson, it's Levis, it's Jarren Hall, it's Hendon Hooker, it's DJU making a push to get himself back into that conversation right now. And Hall's playing really good football this season. Were there any other big instant reaction takeaways? I've not watched everything yet. I'm just kind of touching on the things that I actually saw. Pac-12, of course, I watched my USC Trojans struggle for most of the game, but when we needed to throw, Caleb Williams delivered as he always does. 2 guys, yeah, let's go this one. And this wasn't even a late game. Got them all over some campus-to-can rosters, but Jaden Ott, the true freshman running back out of Cal, my God, he is smashing this season out of Cal. Somebody that I talked about in the recruiting process. Like, I don't know how this guy was rated where he was, because he was clearly, in my opinion, one of the better incoming freshman running backs in the class. But 274 yards and 3 touchdowns versus Arizona. He's got 9 catches on the season, 2 receiving touchdowns, 6 foot, 205. When it's all said and done, he's probably going to finish up about 6 foot, 210, 215. Jaden Ott, big play threat, and Jacob Cowing doing his thing to transfer over here at Arizona, still making plays. T McMillan, the true freshman, also another touchdown for him. Great involvement. He's going to have a really good sort of prospect profile after his freshman season, right? As a true freshman, he's already at 15 for 199, starting every game. That's not him. Where's McMillan? There we go. Here we go. 11 for 200, 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say that ain't him. 6'5", 205 pounds. He'll finish up 210, 215. Really good young player. T-Mac, that's what they call him. So really, really good young player. All right. That's about it as far as just wanted to just get some thoughts out there on what I saw. Penn State, Nick Singleton let me down. Katron Allen, good player. Everyone's talking about Nick Singleton, and rightfully so, but Allen is a damn good guy as well. Let's see. Got a couple of people. USC, Lucky Nolan threw 4 picks. Yeah, but we got the job done. I don't care. We always act wild up there. Deuce Vaughn is kind of insane. He has a literal touch of, he's a good player, man. He's very good, but he's also very, very small, which is the sad part. So just a quick little brain dump, 30 minutes. I just wanted to get it out because come Monday, nobody really cares about what happened in college football. Is there any other big takeaways, anything that y'all want to know about? DJU, very impressed. Will Levis, again, we didn't talk about him, but he had a good game. 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. I want to see Will run the ball. We know Will can run the ball. I think he's like negative 50 damn rushing yards on the season. Where's he at? On the season, yeah, he's got negative 18, negative 12, 3, and negative 10. I don't know what's going on. I know the offensive line is awful, so that's probably the main factor in why he's not being able to run the ball. But, on the season, 67% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, 1,100 yards. Not bad for a guy throwing the true freshman out there. And once again, Barry Brown, if you have not seen him play, and they've got weapons, man. I know they're young, but Levis has some weapons. Brown is a beast. 6'1". He's bigger than 166, but he can absolutely fly. Absolutely fly. All right, y'all. It's Sunday. I know you don't want to hear any more about college football, but needed to get it out. Needed to get it out of my system. Appreciate y'all tapping in. The few of y'all from the squad that actually got up and watched this a little bit. Appreciate it. Ideally, Gibbs should get around 250 touches a season. Yeah, you're probably right, JB. You don't want him touching the ball 300 times a season. It's 300 times a season. All right, y'all. Enjoy your Sunday. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you want to be a part of the community, patreon.com/allgas. If not, wake up with me and ARich tomorrow morning, bright and early. And I'm also going to jump on live later this afternoon, I believe at 5:30, to do an instant reaction of the NFL games that we've seen. So a lot of GQ on the channel today. May have some guests join for the NFL one, but I appreciate y'all tapping in. We'll see you later